The earth is an extremely feminine element. It's a pure element. Some of the tools that we're gonna work with are sometimes pure earth elements related, or sometimes they would be combined with some other elements. So the earth is located between the sex and the anus as a body point energy. It's related with the bowels. It's linked to the action of defecating, but it's as well the first body point energy as we experience as human when we are between 1 and 3 years old. The baby and the very young child will experience the world in 3 dimensions from this point of view, from the point of view of the earth. That's why it's called in psychoanalysis the very famous anal state. As an element and as a frequency, the earth is all about what is fertile, eventually passive. It's this feminine energy which is all about receiving. We have to quite understand that the earth is not the base, the root. The root is the sky, and the earth is the fruit of the sky. And yet, when the earth is lying and gets supported by the sky, the earth could provide its fruits, which are the plants and the trees, which are the manifested expression of the earth as a living and vivid element. I will make a little pause developing the psychology and the peculiarities of trees, which are carrying their own consciousness. A tree or any kind of plant, but in the scale of the evolution, the tree would be the more evolved, would perceive time 2,000 times slower than a human. Trees don't have any neurons, and yet they are intelligent, communicating. They're eventually extremely chatty, socializing, gathering with each other, sometimes excluding some members, where they would act with solidarity with some other member of our community, some other trees, sharing nutriment through the roots. They will communicate through the leaves chemically, and through the flowers and the blooming as well. Sometimes they will altogether decide to exclude a member of a group and suck the energy of a tree, which should be considered as a threat for the community. So sometimes, most likely because its location. Trees are in motions, and if you examine, for instance, a vine, and you see it, you accelerate the growth of the vine, and you accelerate it like several thousand times faster in fast forward, you would see this vine crawling all along a wall as if it was an animal. So that's what they are, the trees, animal without neurons. And that's what the ancient Celts, the ancient Druids of Celtic shamanism did understood since millenniums. The ancient Celts were the masters of the trees as far as their environment was one of the most luxurious and with the widest diversity in terms of trees. They were living with the trees, building their houses with the wood. The wood is always moving, changing its forms, very reactive, and getting the influence of the humidity. So these houses made of wood has to be tweaked and fixed all the time. That's why, notably, in the modern world, some cultures, such as the German culture, for instance, but as well the north of Italy and British culture, used to be so good and so habile with the motors. It comes from this ancestral skill and habit to fix their wood houses permanently because of this moving nature of the wood, which has been transferred and translated into the motors and the engines. The ancient Celts were completely aware of this consciousness of trees, and they were treating one tree from another as a person with his own personality, his characteristics, and the peculiarities of its individual power. These ancient Celts did have the habit to connect their own consciousness to the individual consciousness of some trees or plants, out of the fact that they were using plants for phytotherapy on a chemical way, Here we're talking about upper skill, real shamanic skills of healing. They were using hacking, let's say, or surfing in all along the consciousness of some particular trees, melting with their frequencies, and using it in terms of healing, notably throughout magnetism. The only thing is that the sensation of a tree would be extremely slower, and the psyche and intellectual mechanism is pretty basic. But still, the thing is that connecting with trees is mostly beneficial for us in the way that it leads us to understand that consciousness is a universal phenomenon, and that trees are by themselves living beings with feelings, sensations, pleasure and pain. Emotion, maybe not. As far as the realm of emotions is related to the animal realm, and especially mammals. Okay, sometimes when they were on some long walk, were embracing and hugging the trees in order to capture and get their energies on an electromagnetic way, and it would be here an exchange of positive and negative ions. Some energies, some low astral energies, energy of the earth, are for us humans sometimes extremely heavy, and it could be exchanged and offered to the trees. For them, this energy are a nutriment and are quite legit and are eventually agreeable to receive. So this relationship between human and trees could go further than we can just imagine. It would be tactile. Eventually, the relationship with trees, if we do a quickly short U-turn with quantum physics, could be considered as a vessel for time traveling. Trees are older than humans most of the time. They could go throughout 200, 300, 400 years. And they have they are pervaded by the informations of the past. They have this memory of the past. Even if they don't necessarily understand, they're not necessarily able to fully analyze those data. By connecting with trees, a consciousness could become the vessel for time traveling, and we could connect with some quite far past feel and get the informations of what did happen centuries ago, how people were living, and get connected to the atmosphere of the daily life, which was on maybe some centuries ago. Some other humans did touch those trees. They left a mark, carved emotionally. So now, in order to approach this alchemical element, in order to use it in terms of attraction and healing, I would say already the frequency of the earth, which is an elemental, a basic, is a frequency of attraction already by itself. It's not active, it's not creative, it's feminine, flexible, driven by empathy, some sort of joy, acceptance, let it go, easygoing. And this position is extremely important, because if this position is not mastered already, it would be complicated and difficult to develop the further tools. The position of the earth is not to do anything special, not to try to create something, to be consistent with a routine, habits, with calm, not much effort necessarily, and it would be all about melting this ability to let it go, let it be, whatever it is, and welcome and accept the full potential of every single moment which would rise and appear. Every single moment is hosting an infinite potential of abundance, of informations. And it will be all about that. Rejoicing, accepting every moment would be able to feed you with something, somehow. And each time you get fed, of course, in order to amplify and resonate one step further, expressing your gratitude. Gratitude, and you know that most likely is an amplificator, a multiplicator. Burn the Earth is already all about that. As a base, being satisfied by this present moment, whatever it could afford, something could nourish you, here and now. Observe, be aware, identify it, and welcome it. And while it's a moment which is only apparently providing some elements which seems to be painful, consider it as a challenge and a potential opportunity of transformation and upgrade. This way you can hopefully welcome anything which is appearing. Radius frequency of the Earth, and being able to welcome anything with capital A would necessarily root you down, anchor you, and makes you feel pretty rational and down to earth. The Earth is irrational as well. Let's not forget it. It's more about what is concrete, pragmatic. The elementary purpose of the Earth is to receive a seed. So the seed could be an idea, the seed could be a concept, but the seed should have a benefit. The Earth would always seek the beneficial aspect of any event, any moment, any object. It should be useful for something. That's the psychology of the Earth. If it's not, it may be slightly irrelevant. Without any brutality. But that's the purpose of the Earth, to get fed. So the Earth is as well fundamentally linked with the roots and the ability to develop some anchoring, some repairs. First of all, the first anchoring is to be local, not to be a nomad, to stay somewhere. The psychology of the Earth is to not to travel, not to try to discover the unknown. The frequency of the Earth doesn't feel itself necessarily comfortable when traveling and moving a lot. It likes to let its root grow. When there would be a travel or a move, it would necessarily be a big move, moving from a place to another for good, not just for visiting. The person which is driven by the frequency of the Earth is a despicable tourist, a terrible explorator. Purpose of the Earth is to see its fruit manifested, see the plant grow, and they have to be fed. So you stay here, you build a farm, you build a house, you're planting trees, and you're observing time. There is a time to plant, and there's a time to harvest. Those are cycles, and you would agree to live in harmony with the cycles, seasons.